Members of Congress, I have got some critical issues to address. And this touches on the question of the nomination and the 2026 general election. Let me start by giving some personal background. In 2005, I first returned in April. That time we had a consultative group meeting at Christ the King. Immediately after that, I went north in May, and I stayed in Uganda for about 3 months, and then I went back to Zambia. On the 11th of September 2005, I came back to Uganda. If you recall, on 19th of September that same year, we had branch elections. My branch elections were at Cultural Center, so that time the elections were at parish level. And basically from then, activity started. My father had gone to South Africa on the 12th of September. We made arrangements for him to go to South Africa, and then I left to come back to Uganda. After the branch elections, I came back to Kampala, and then his health deteriorated as we entered into October. So, on the 10th of October, my father passed away. When he passed away, I was at the hospital with him, together with my mother, and there were others. But as he was passing, I made a promise to him. I was holding on to his left arm, my mother was on his right side, and there were other people in the room. But I made a solemn promise to my father as he passed. And what I told him was to let go and go with Jesus, because I will set the record straight. That record touches on the economic, the political, and everything to do with Milton Obote. So as we enter this 2026 election, for me, it is more than just an election, more than just UPC. It is much deeper on my side. And this is a solemn promise which I have made, which is not easy or possible, at least on my side, to withdraw from that promise. And that is where some people have misunderstood me, saying Akena has become so wild, Akena is ready to whatever. Akena made a promise. Akena has created avenues to realize this promise. The best chance to realize this promise of setting the record straight was this 2026 general election. And that is why I am fighting tooth and nail to set that record straight. So don't think I'm being belligerent for no reason. I have reasons. And this is a promise I made to my father on his deathbed. I must. Which brings me to the context of where we are today. About 3 years ago, something happened, and then I promised politically what route I'm going to use to bring us to a situation whereby, at that time I said I'm going to force a situation where we're going to get a 50+1 rerun. I'm going to create enough votes to create a rerun. That was 3 years ago. The work which we have done has given us a pathway to create that 50+1. That has created fear on the side of NRA and fear on the side of the president, because the president does not want to go for a second round. And for me, in this context, and the context of where members were concerned, I approached. I went to see the president to clear the air. And what I got from the president is adamant that my contestation will weaken his position. But my contestation has nothing to do with him. This is something which is, for me as UPC, and me personally as a son of Obote, I want to set the record straight. I didn't go to seek permission. I don't need to get permission. What I needed was to be nominated. And after meeting all the legal requirements, there was no legal reason. The only reason why I have not been nominated to this point is political. And in the meeting, the president made it very clear. I will not be nominated because it will weaken him. But this is outside the law. It is more ironical for me as a son of Obote, who was accused of rigging the 1980 elections. Constantly. The same president said, Obote rigged. And that was the justification for him going to the bush. This in itself should be proof. Should be proof to many that Obote did not rig. But what is taking place here is more than rigging. How do you have the chief executive involved with the electoral commission, involved with court, with clear issue of what they expect of UPC? So if you expect Akena to bow down, or else the threat which is there in court, which is why I also asked members of cabinet here and MPs, the threat in court is that they're going to give us a ruling which is going to make it impossible to run the party, to create absolute chaos. That threat was there. And that is the threat under which they're saying that I should agree not to be nominated or whatever basis so that I can remain and do whatever. For me, I'm beyond that one. Where I've reached is beyond that one. Right now we are here, or at least in my case, I am here to set the record straight. I can prove UPC's record in the 60s. I can prove UPC's record in the 80s. UPC came with the most practical, bankable program to recover Uganda after the Liberation War. I will defend that record. I'll defend the record of Milton Obote. I will never compromise that one. But I have also made it clear, if the cost of doing so means you put me in the ground, I'm ready for that also. And that is the thing which I told most of my leaders before I started on this journey. You weigh the cost of the journey, you weigh the outcome. In my particular case, I'm ready for whichever outcome. But I cannot compromise the values, I cannot compromise what Obote stood for, and I cannot compromise what UPC stands for. So therefore, I am ready to talk, but I'm not ready to compromise. And therefore, I'm urging the members of UPC, stand strong, stand firm. What is being done in bad faith because the reality has come forth. We are on the right track. I do not see any situation whereby I can change my position. I can't.
Thank you.
I can't. I stand for what Congress stands for. I stand for the truth. And in this campaign, my key objective was to set the record straight. And I'll set the record straight economically, politically, across the board. That's why I must be on the ballot. Let me speak to the people of Uganda. Let the people of Uganda reject me. Let this long history that UPC rigged, UPC were killers, let us address it. That's why I want to be on the ballot. Not to be hidden away. So I am not running. I'm not turning around. I am going to face this thing head on. But what has been done is wrong. What has been done is wrong. And the president is clearly involved. Is this the democracy they fought for?